it's Bonnie LaFrac from the Fitness Asylum. How are you? I want to talk to you about one of my favorite topics. It's called the myth of moderation. So, have you ever heard or been told everything in moderation? You should be able to eat anything you want in moderation. One bite won't hurt you. True or false? So it's easy to be moderate, in my opinion, with things that you're not that interested in. For example, if you don't like pizza, but I should like pizza. If you don't like pizza, is it easy to be moderate with pizza? Absolutely. But for most of us, the combination of the salt, the fat, and the sugar, right? Sugar in pizza, makes it easy to overeat. Plug in whatever food you can think of. Cookies, nachos, ice cream, all of these things. If you're somebody who's ever struggled with losing weight, chances are you can't be moderate with certain foods or in general with just eating or mindless eating or stress eating. And we struggle, of course, to make this fit for us, this whole model of moderation. We're trying to be moderate because that's what society tells us we should be able to do. And it's somehow a fault of ours, right? We're faulty or defective if we can't be moderate. So it's taking a square peg and trying to put it into that round hole over and over and over. Maybe we can practice moderation for a little while or a little bit, but over time or in a stressful situation or when we're not thinking or we're just tired, things can get easily out of hand. And so there's the expression that it's easier to be 100% than it is to be 99%. So for example, maybe you have a friend, right, who is a vegan or a vegetarian, like they've definitely picked a lane that they're in for eating. Well, once they've decided, they've made that decision and they're in that lane and you go out to lunch with them and you keep offering them a bite of my steak, a bite of my hamburger, a bite of my meatballs, have some of this chicken. Don't you think that they've made, if they're vegetarian or vegan, the answer is easily no. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to wonder, should I have just a bite? It's not even an interest of theirs anymore. They've made the decision for whatever reason. The same thing might happen if you know somebody who's quit smoking or they've quit drinking, right? So should you smoke in moderation? What about drinking? Should you drink in moderation if drinking is a problem for you? What about shoplifting? Should you shoplift in moderation? Some of these things that people are compelled to do aren't good for them. And we don't always know somebody else's story. What issue do they really have? And so when we try to tell people or convince people that it's all about moderation, you can do anything you want in moderation, simply not true. I don't know anybody who's a drug addict who does drugs in moderation. And that might seem like, Bonnie, that's a big jump from being addicted to potato chips to drug addict. And I'm going to throw that back to you and ask you if that's true. Is it really a big jump? Is addiction addiction? I'm going to say that it is. Our brains like dopamine, and we get these dopamine hits, right? Dopamine is like a pleasure neurotransmitter. We're getting these little dopamine hits from the things that light us up, and that could be eating something, having a certain behavior, drinking, drugs, you name it. It is all sort of on the same platform. And so my clients, and for myself, I'm always telling them to beware of this myth. The myth of moderation is going to keep you very much stuck in this sort of yo-yo diet cycle. So rather than fight to be moderate, why not just make the decision and know thyself and say, you know what? There are certain things that I'm not going to have, and they're not going to trip me up, and I'm not going to try to keep doing the dance with things that don't serve me. So I could go on and on about the myth of moderation. Hopefully I've kept your attention for a little while, but think about it in your life, and I hope this helps you out.